All right, guys, pay attention today. We are talking about scaling the right way, not talking about posting on social media about how you're scaling or building your business, not flexing team photos, not building overhead. Today, we're talking about real profit. Ben is an absolute specialist in the foreclosure arena and a real estate investor, and he scaled the wrong way and lost $1 million. Can you believe that? $1 million. Then he rebuilt his business to run 8 to 10 deals consistently, like clockwork, every single month with just 4 people. That's crazy, right? Small team, tight systems, and real margins. So, if you're trying to grow without blowing up your business and spending a ton of money, this episode matters. Let's get into it. Welcome to the Closers Club, the place where real investors come to learn the tips and tricks that the people who are crushing it in this business are using so that they can implement that into their business today. Ben, my friend, thank you so much for being here. Let's jump right in. You've openly talked, which is crazy, about losing $1 million. Most people will never admit that, right? What exactly did you do wrong? And, where did that money go? Like, what happened, man?
Yeah. First off, thanks for having me.
Yeah.
But it's a good question. So the first thing that we did wrong, we brought in a business partner that we did not need to bring on. And that turned into
partner stories.
Yeah. So that turned into a nightmare where, the guy just eventually stopped working and we had to go and separate. Instead of just giving him profit share, we gave him a piece of the equity.
Right.
And to get rid of him, it cost us $250,000.
Ooh. Wow. I thought I had 88,000 to get rid of a partner one time. I thought that was a lot, but yeah, that's true. That's advice I've been given a lot of times is, you don't need to partner, you can hire,
Yes. Or just give him profit share. Put it in your agreement. He gets profit share. That's fine.
Right. Yeah.
Number two, we had a lawsuit that we got hit with on a deal that went sideways that, at the end of the day, it wasn't our fault.
Right.
There was a title issue that happened and the homeowner just wrapped everybody into it. And it was 18 months of paying attorney fees. Cost us a little over another $250,000.
Oh my God.
And then the last one, we had purchased a service-based business. And my business partner that I currently still have, so it was 3, we had to get rid of one. So my business partner's best friend of 50 years ended up stealing our company. Took the crews, took the leads, took everything from this business that we had just bought. When we factored it all out of the lost revenue, the starting over, the valuation of the company, it was another $479,000 that we had.
Okay. Yeah. That's painful. So what's the lesson there? What was the lesson that you came out of that with?
Well, we were doing a lot of deals. We were doing them fast. I think we were making at one point, we were doing $200,000 plus a month in net profit.
Yeah.
It was crazy. We were killing it, but we were moving so fast that we didn't have things in place to protect our ass, to cover us if something went wrong.
Yeah.
And that can happen to anybody. You just get deals. It gets addictive. You're like, all right, I'm going to do the next deal, the next deal, the next deal. Let's bring somebody on. Let's do this. We're doing all these things that all these people in these masterminds are telling us to do. At the end of the day, we didn't actually take a step back and go, why the hell are we building this business? What do we want to do? We created a job for ourselves that was taking 80 hours a week for both of us.
Right.
That's not what we wanted. We just thought that that's what we should be doing because everybody else was telling us that that's what we needed to do.
Yeah, I mean, that's a thing, right? And I almost don't even like using the word scaling anymore because I think it's got such a bad connotation. But years ago, I had this mentor. His name was Kenny Rushing. He's out of Tampa, Florida. One of the everybody always calls somebody the OG. Like, this is a guy that legitimately was around, in the late 80s, early 90s, that taught the people who taught the people who taught the people who are teaching all of us now. And, I asked Kenny about scaling and running a big business. He's like, man, it depends. Understand what scaling is. Like, if you have 20 people, like, you're responsible for those 20 people. Like, I have 25 or so right now. And yeah, like, even when I'm out of town, I know that the business has to make money because they have rents and car payments and kids and girlfriends, and hopefully not both, right? But like they have bills, right? They have things that they have to do and have to pay. And when you scale, you're now responsible for all that. Whereas, when it was just me, Like, granted, I needed to find a middle ground because when it was just me, I was trying to do everything myself, and that wasn't a good plan either. So yeah, there is a nice middle ground. I think that you've really found that with the size of your team. So kind of talk about what business looks like now.
Yes, we've got 2 closers on the team. We have a virtual assistant, and then we have a ton of AI built into our business that,
Mhm.
doesn't cost us anything. I
Right.
mean, there's a little bit of monthly cost, but it's not like an employee where you have to have benefits and,
Yeah.
all of these things that just add dollar amounts to your overhead. At one
Mhm.
point, we were at like $60,000 worth of overhead with our team. It was
Oh,
great. We were
good.
making $200,000 a month, but
Yeah.
60,000 in overhead for what? Half of the things that we were paying for, we didn't even know that we were paying for.
Oh, I know. We have that too. I mean, I'm at probably 100 grand with payroll because what we do is not an AI business. Like, there has to actually be people on the phone. So
Correct.
I get it.
Yeah. So then, I mean, the other things that we did was, we partnered with you guys to handle
Mhm.
all of the dispo side of things.
Yeah.
And now we're just heavy focused on,
Mhm.
acquisitions, underwriting deals, making sure that we've got good deals in the pipeline. And
Right.
looking at the board right now and it's full. I got to go get a new whiteboard.
Well, I think that's really one of the most important things. It was certainly a hard lesson for me when I was starting out, and I kind of alluded to it a minute ago. I wore as a badge of honor control freak. Nobody works as hard as me. Nobody's as smart as me. Nobody cares as much as me. And to a point, some of that is true. As a business owner, nobody is going to care as much as you. Clearly, right? We know that. But what did Henry Ford say? I would rather have the 1% of the effort of 100 people than 100% of my own effort, right?
Yep.
So this is how, you grow and you build an actual business instead of a job, like you were talking about in the very beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the AI stuff, I didn't mean to cut you off there.
No,
The AI stuff, because like I use it. I use it a lot. It helped me do this intro. Like it helps me do a lot of stuff, but I don't know that it's ready for prime time where I can just say, go do this and it like figures it all out, right? It takes a lot of prompts. So how are you using that in your business? Because I think that's something that people are always interested in, or they think AI is going to take all of our jobs. And I don't think it's there yet.
it's not. No.
No.
Number one, we own a painting company. I don't
Mhm.
know that AI is ever going to be able to paint a house,
Right.
or if it does, it's not going to be in the next 5 to 10 years. And we'll have sold it by then and moved on.
Right.
But the way that we use it in our real estate business is as soon as the lead comes in, that AI is making a call. So
Mhm.
our AI can make calls a hell of a lot faster than a human being dialing or sitting on the phone. And
Yeah.
this AI is programmed to know exactly what to say. It has a goal at the end of the day of what to get out of the conversation.
I
Set an
like that.
appointment with our team for the offer call. We always do 2 calls. We'll do the
Mhm.
initial script
Yeah.
to get the information, then we'll do an offer call, and then we never miss a phone call. We never miss a text message. That's leads that you're paying for. You're paying
Right.
real money for these leads.
Yeah.
You might as well make sure that you're taking advantage of every single one of them and giving yourself a shot to get that deal done.
I used to pay junior acquisitions people 35 to 40 grand plus commission to do that.
Yeah.
Now you can have AI do it. So is this something that you created or like a service that you're using and kind of modified it?
So we've got a good CRM that we've been with since the very beginning. It's called Pete. I don't know if you know John Nolan,
I
but
do. I do know John very well.
yeah. So John built Pete, and he came to me a couple months ago and said, "Hey, we're going to build AI." And I'm like,
Mhm.
"All right, can I give you our scripts and you go and
Yeah.
build it?" He's like, "Absolutely." So we've kind
Nice.
of been partnering with him to build that all out, and it's finally
Mhm.
live, and we're super excited for. I mean, we're doing 8 to 10 deals a month without
Right.
AI.
Hmm. Hmm.
Imagine what we're going to be able to do with the power of AI built into the business.
Yeah. I have a couple of friends in Phoenix that are doing, three to $400,000 a month, and they honestly don't even want to talk about. Like they won't come on and talk about it on the podcast, but they are crushing it with AI. Like
Yeah.
absolutely. And I don't think, at least in my brain, I don't think it's going to right now lock up deals for you, but it's doing all that background stuff.
Mhm.
All the things that like nobody wants to do, follow-ups, text, just keeping those people warm and pulling them back in so that then somebody on your team can have that live call. And I think that's where, you know, I don't think AI can have empathy, and it can't understand pauses. It doesn't understand if I pause for that long or if I pause for just a second. It doesn't understand tonality. Not yet. Maybe it will. I mean, I'm sure it will at some point. But I think people want to talk to real people.
For sure. And I think that's, that the AI paired with how good we
Mhm.
are on the phones and how much
Yeah.
rapport we build with homeowners.
Mhm.
I don't think we go to any houses anymore. There may
Really?
be a couple in Kansas City that I'll just
Mhm.
go drive out to if we're going to keep it as a hold. But,
Yeah.
most of these properties, we do it all over the phone. And our
Mhm.
team that's the differentiator in the business now.
Mhm.
It's how much rapport can you build with the homeowner? How
Yeah.
much time can you spend with the homeowner on an offer call? How much trust can
Mhm.
you build? And can you get that person to inherently trust that you're going to do what you say you're going to do because you have an entire track record of proof that shows that you've done that in
Right.
the past?
So, when newer people, and because I know you coach a lot of people and you have lots of students. So when somebody's maybe getting started, like what are some of the mistakes that they're making when they get on the phone?
Their number one mistake is they're afraid to get on the phone. That's
I
the
know.
thing I see from most new people is they don't want to get on the phone. Like,
Yeah.
I'll go, make my website look better.
Yeah.
None of that shit matters. You got to
Yeah.
get on the phone
People bought houses long before there were websites or fax machines
exactly,
or business cards or any of that
exactly.
nonsense. Yeah, that's just procrastination. Let me feel like I'm busy, but
Yep.
did I actually get anything done?
Yeah, and I'll give you an example. One of our students the other day got a deal locked up, and I listened to his call. It was awful, just awful.
Yeah.
But he spent so much time with the lady on the phone that she
Mhm.
wanted to work with him. He
Yeah.
built a connection with her. She wanted to work with him. He's going to make 30 grand on this deal as
Great.
his first deal.
Love it.
And he screwed up the entire conversation. He mentioned wholesaling about 12 times throughout the conversation,
Uh,
which is not
just
typically what you want to do.
no, no, he just had, yes, he just had verbal diarrhea. He just
He did.
blah, he just stuff just
Yeah.
kept coming out because they get nervous. And, I always tell people like, the seller, whoever you're talking to, they should be doing 80% of the talking. You
Correct.
know, you just
Yep.
need to be kind of guiding that. But yeah, being afraid to get on the phone. I talked about this last night in your group. I had the same problem. I literally was just looking at leads and trying to just, here's what it is. I think our biology is designed to keep us safe,
Yep.
right? From the time when we were in caves and I don't want to walk out because a pterodactyl is going to come and get me, right? So your brain's like, don't call this person. They may say no and it's going to hurt your feelings,
Yeah.
you know?
And I
So
think
we're just wired for that.
it all goes back to, why do you want to get into this business? What do you
Mhm.
want this business to give you? Freedom, financial freedom,
Yeah.
the ability to travel, your
Mhm.
spouse off your back because you haven't made enough money. Like, what is it that is
Yeah.
getting you into this business? And if you can think about that before you hop on the phone,
Mhm.
it's going to drive you to want to do those things.
Yeah. Yeah. I think you have to get that first deal, and sometimes you have to just power through it like anything else, right? I was at the gym this morning, and I was looking at these 2 guys working out, and I'm like, "Oh, great, they have an accountability partner. That's so awesome." And I'm like, I get that people say get an accountability partner and make those calls, but you have to decide for yourself. Like, you
Yep.
just have to make a commitment and say, "Today, I'm gonna stop smoking. I'm gonna stop drinking. I'm gonna stop whatever, right? I'm gonna whatever it is, or I'm going to stop, I'm going to start eating healthier. I'm going to go to the gym.
Mhm.
Like it's just a decision. And
It
Tony
is.
Robbins talks about this all the time. Like it's an instant decision. And once you decide, and you make that commitment to yourself, and if you want it bad enough, you'll go do it. And I'm not here to say it's easy. I tried to lose weight 200 times in my life. Right. But you just do get to a point where you're like, fuck it, I'm done. I'm just
Yep.
fucking done. I'm not doing this anymore. And it's the same in business. You just have to decide to get up and okay, today's the day. I've said we're going to do this. We're doing it.
And if we're going to go down the Tony Robbins route, he's got this idea of full immersion
Yeah.
into a new thing.
Mhm.
That's the way that you learn. You go to all the events that are
Yeah.
local in your area. You get
Right.
on any Zoom calls that you can get on that are
Mhm.
live. You
Right.
like things just like this. You
Mm.
fully immerse yourself in that business and
Mhm.
learn as much as you can. But that doesn't come in front of the fact that you actually have to do something.
Right. Right. Yeah, and that's where people get a little bit confused. Like, well, I did a Zoom today and I did all these things, and yeah, those are the icing on top.
Mhm.
But yeah, if we're talking about real estate, you have to go out and do the thing. My partner says if you do the thing works. Like it all works,
Yes.
but you have to take some action. So in your business, tell me like how are you guys generating leads? Who are you targeting? How is it that because everybody's going to want to know how is he doing 8 to 10 deals? And you told me you're doing more, like you're actually growing beyond that.
Yeah. So one of the way that we got started in this business was foreclosures. It was
Hmm.
a ton of foreclosures. There were only a couple people in the space back then. So I think it was us and 2 other companies going and door knocking.
Yeah. How long ago was that?
About 4 or 5 years ago.
Okay.
So in Kansas City, there were only 3 of us doing this, and
Mhm.
I was the guy out on the streets, driving neighborhoods, knocking on doors.
Dude, that's one
getting
thing I've never done
contracts.
is door knocked. That gives me anxiety.
It's amazing. I love it.
Yeah.
Getting in front of somebody and having a conversation, getting to look them in the eyes, because you know how
Oh,
much harder it
I did
is.
in-person seller appointments, but after I talked to them on the phone.
No, these are all cold. So
Yeah.
getting in front of somebody that, it's a heck of a lot easier to look at your phone and go, nope. When somebody's at your door, they open that door, you go, hey man, I know this is super out of the blue.
Yeah.
Just saw that your lender scheduled a sale. Do you have that handled, or is there something I can do to help?
Yeah.
You know how much harder it is to close that door in your face?
Yeah.
But that's what we did. We did that, and we were doing, back then we were doing 12, 15 deals a month just from me driving around. And I didn't have any fancy software. We didn't even have a CRM. I was doing it all from a Google sheet and my cell phone.
Wow.
It's still doable. You don't have to have all these fancy tools.
No.
You don't have to have all this nonsense. Just go out and do the thing. You can pull foreclosure lists online for free. You can go on Zillow and see every foreclosure in your county, and then put it in the ChatGPT. Say, make me a route.
Right. Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, gosh, when people tell me how hard wholesaling is, I'm like, bro, I know when I started, like, we have so many more resources. I used to have to, when I would go when I was still in Florida, I would look at a house. I would go 30 or 40 minutes early so that I could drive by all of the comps. Like, cause there was no Google Maps, like none of that shit existed. Like I couldn't see, oh yeah, this is the same age range, but like, I don't know that it's an apples and apples. So I would drive those because my goal when I left the house, my appointment was to have the contract. So I needed to know what those other ones sold, these sold, and this is what they look like so that I could make the right offer. So yeah. And then I talked to people like Robert Allen and Lou Brown. I'm like, dude, how the fuck did you do this in 1980?
Oh shit.
Because I had this fantasy. I'm like, oh, if I could have just started when I was in college, but I'm like, dude, there wasn't even barely computers when I was in college. Like, how would I have comp stuff? So you know what Lou Brown said? I asked him this, how they comped.
No.
They opened the newspaper. The newspaper used to have rentals and, all of the houses that were for sale, and they were separated by like neighborhood.
That's wild.
Dude, I'm like, oh, that makes perfect sense. Why wouldn't I have ever thought of that? And that's how they would rent comp and do their comps, because you couldn't get realtor access because there was no access. It was a book. You had to be a realtor, and the realtors weren't, it's an office book. They're not giving that up. Right. So he said, yeah, we would, he's like, yeah, we would just open the newspaper. And if I was in the Highland Park area, I would just go through all those properties. And maybe we would drive by them. Maybe I knew them because it was my farm area, because nobody was doing this virtually. Everything was in your local backyard. And that's how they did it. I'm like, honestly, it makes perfect sense. It's very simple.
And there was probably not that much competition, because now you see online, you can go on Instagram, type in real estate, and it says wholesaling's easy. Just do this, 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 and this, and you'll get your first deal. It's a simple process, but none of it is easy.
Right. No, you have to do stuff.
You have to go do something.
Right. Right.
And that's have to go sift through the newspaper, but you have to go and do something.
Yeah. So now, there's PropStream and Deal Machine and Batch and, unlimited software. And now people are coming out with AIs and CR. Like, dude, it's so easy now. So like, I know that people, and if you're listening to this, I know, new people want to sit at home in their underwear and make money and watch Oprah because that's what some Instagram reel told them, right? Yeah, you can do this from your house and never leave your house. That is actually true. But you're going to have to put a headset on and get comfortable with calling people. Like I don't know a way around that. At least in the side of real estate that we're in, you have to be okay with talking to people, and you don't have to be like, I'm not an outgoing person, dude. I'm the most fucking introverted person there is. Like there's a switch that I flip to come do this kind of stuff and speak on stage. And then, dude, my team knows, like the minute this camera goes off, I'm like, I'm done. I need 10 minutes to recharge.
I was supposed to be a doctor, and I spent all of my time in high school and college in a library. I did not have a social skill to speak of.
Really?
Because my entire life was studying. Go be a doctor, go be a doctor, go be a doctor. Yeah. When I started in real estate,
I was going to be in law, so I get it.
I didn't know how to have a conversation with somebody.
Really?
You just learn how to do these things.
So how did you get to where you were doing the door knocking?
I just said, you know what? I can't be a corporate guy. I'm a horrible employee. I need to go and figure this out. And the pain of staying in corporate, like my father, I mean, I love my dad to death, but he's been a corporate guy for 40 years. The pain of doing what he did with his life was it so much more outweighed the pain of just going and knocking on a door and having a conversation with somebody. I'm like, I will figure this out. I can't be a corporate guy. There's no shot in hell I can do this.
Yeah. So, and a million people have said this, like the pain of where you're at or the pain of where you want to go. Pick your pain. There's going to be pain no matter what. I had literally was having this conversation with somebody 15 minutes before we got on this call. You know, she needed to make some decisions. I'm like, there's going to be pain on one side or the other. Like you just, which one, you know, and the decision you got to make, it's not going to be easier tomorrow and it's not going to be harder today. It's just, you just got to do that. So yes, 100%. And I, you know, let me say this. I don't think everybody's built to be an entrepreneur. Like it's a hard life. I don't like people that get on social media and like, college is stupid. Everybody should have their own business. We can't all run our own businesses like that. There's got to be people that do that. We need accountants. We need lawyers. For sure. And God knows we need doctors to keep us alive. But for those people that are built for this, and you know, when people ask me about it, I was talking about this to somebody the other day, and you tell me what you think, what your advice is. I tell people, can you work for 90 days and not get a check? Can you show up every day for 90 days and not get a check? Like whether it's your part-time gig or your full-time gig, like that's the level of determination that I think it takes. Like how committed are you? Do you want it as bad as you want to breathe? You know?
Yeah, that's a good way to frame that for sure. Cause I think a lot of people get into this and they're like, you know what, I'm going to do my first deal in 2 weeks. They get 10 no's and they're like, I'm out. Let's go back to Instagram and find something else that's get rich quick. Let's go day trade. Let's go try Airbnb. Let's go buy a business, which if you've never owned a business before, buying a business sounds like a terrible idea for you. You have no idea what the hell you're doing. So there's a lot that goes into being an entrepreneur. And I 100% agree with you. Not everybody should be an entrepreneur.
Right.
And not everybody's built for this because there's a lot of people that if they saw on their balance sheet that they lost $1 million in a year, it would freak the hell out and go right back to corporate. But I'm just not going to do that.
I mean, are you willing to put everything into your business? You know, like we had 3 amazing years where we were Forexing the company, and then the market turned a little bit, and we're putting 150,000 into the business. Like these things, you know, you're building something for the long term, and you know, sometimes people don't understand. Like as the owner, you're the last one to get paid, but you're also the owner, and you also have all the equity. And when you exit it one day, that's great, you know. So, I definitely think it can be a challenge, right? But again, we talked about this before. We're not digging ditches or laying pipe or running cable and wire and all that stuff in a hot attic of 150 degrees. You know, but one of the things, especially, you know, I know you're a great coach because I've been on your calls. You know, one thing that having a great coach or mentor can do is help you shrink and compress that time and that learning curve. And I think that is so important. So there is, you know, value in, you know, you can watch all the podcasts you want. That's great. You know, but we can only talk about so much in 20 or 30 minutes. We can only do so much. And, you know, information is not the real thing that you're paying for when you get a coach. You're paying for that access and somebody who is, in my case, I say we invented ways to lose money, especially marketing.
You're paying for a bluept too. So you don't have to go figure out what to do this, and this. And you're also learning how to not lose $1 million. So
and I think that's really powerful. So, you know, getting a good coach is, you know, it's the cheat code. It's the, you know, the shortcut. It's the escalator to the next level, whatever it is. Cause you know, and this is, I guess is the question for people. If you're thinking about, well, should I hire a coach or should I not? You know, what's your end goal and how quick do you want to get there? Like that's the only question you have to answer. And if you want it now, well, you need to get with somebody like you and, you know, somebody that's been in the business and is actually reliable and really doing deals. And we close your deals. So I can tell people, you know, you're 100% legit and doing those closings. I know we've gone a little bit over and I apologize. I know you've got a lot of stuff going on, but what is the best place for people to get a hold of you? Cause I think, you know, people are drawn to people that really do the business and, you know, and are authentic and, you know, that can maybe help them kind of shorten that learning curve.
Yeah. Any questions that anybody has, the best way to get a hold of me is Instagram.
Okay. I love that.
I think you've got the handle. So there you go. We've got, if I'm not in there, I have somebody that's actively looking at all of the DMs that are coming through, and they're passing along the messages that are coming through that they don't know the answers to. So we've always got somebody in there answering questions.
Love it. And I know you put out a lot of great content. Yeah, that's me too. I tell people, like, I answer my own questions. If you tell me I'm a fucking dick, then I'm going to answer that too. I don't sit on there all day, but once or twice during the day, I'll get on there and I'll try to answer stuff. And, like you, real estate's given us a great life. There's plenty of deals for everybody. There's no scarcity.
No.
My God, it's there are a lot of people out there who are losing sleep at night over these houses. And I think, the thing that we do, our superpower as investors, and the thing that we bring to the world is, we can come in and help these people. So, Ben, I appreciate everything you're doing. Appreciate you coming on. We'll definitely have you come back on, because I'd love to talk more and get deeper into foreclosures and kind of that strategy and all of that stuff. So appreciate you coming on today.
Thanks, David.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. This is the Closers Club. If you enjoyed this, like, subscribe, share it with a friend. My name's David Olds, and I will see you at the